help me. I posted something on my Facebook page today that mentioned the crazy energies coming into Earth right now, and which are probably upsetting a bunch of us, not just light workers, but pretty much everybody on this plane who is somewhat aware of their surroundings, their own bodies, other people, and whatever else is going on in the world. And I did mention to use the oxytocin breath in order to calm us down whenever regular things that happen on an everyday basis suddenly get to us as if we were hyper sensitive, which we actually are right now. We're trying to all assimilate these energies and try and stay sane and follow our own path in life. But we get distracted so easily with everything that's going on because we are so hypersensitive, which is a good thing, because if it weren't for us being so sensitive, we would not realize all the things that are coming up. We would not be able to process all those things. We would not be able to move into healing. But how can we make this all easier on us? One way to do it, obviously, besides meditation and joining a community and all those obvious things, would be to practice the oxytocin breath. Now, what is oxytocin? Oxytocin actually is a hormone. It's a natural hormone that everybody releases. It's also called a hug hormone. Hug as in hugging, or the love hormone. It's actually created every time you touch somebody, whether it be humans or animals. Anytime there's any positive social interaction, this is when we release that hormone naturally. And what it does is it counteracts the effects of all the stress hormones. Stress hormones, there are three major ones. There's cortisol, and I have to read them because I keep messing them up. There's cortisol, adrenaline, obviously, a very big one that everybody's familiar with, and norepinephrine. My God, that's so hard to say. It's even harder to deal with it. Norepinephrine, cortisol, and adrenaline, the most common stress hormones, the three most important ones. They build up in the body. If we don't do something to counteract their existence in our bodies, we just keep building them up and up and up, and we become less and less stress resistant. What do those hormones do? The stress hormones put us in a physical response of either freeze, where we don't know what to do anymore at all, fight, where we become really, really aggressive, or flight, where we just want to run away, stick our heads into the sand, curl up into a little ball on the couch and never leave the house again, not even go to work. Those are the three most important responses that our bodies go into naturally, because those are ingrained in our 3D bodies, the fight, flight, and freeze response. That is what those three hormones are responsible for. So what can we do in order to build up the oxytocin, the hug hormone that counteracts the stress hormones? Well, one way to do it is to practice oxytocin breathing. It is actually fairly easy to do. The only handicap that we encounter learning it or doing it really is us being embarrassed because it really is us sighing loudly, and you cannot necessarily do it everywhere you are, right? But I'll get to that in a little bit. So let me show you first how to actually do it. So what you do is preferably to stand up straight, or at least sit up straight, right? And try and breathe really deeply into your stomach. So don't do a flat breathing into the chest only, but really have it come down really deeply into the belly, which is not on the screen anymore, but you know where my belly is. So let's just practice this. Take a deep, deep breath in, and then out again, obviously. And then in, and then out. So what you do really is with the out breath, with the exhale, you just make an audible sigh, and it sounds like an ah, I'll remove the microphone just a tad because I don't want it to get too loud. So let's just practice this and follow along with me. Take a breath in. And out with a sigh. And now you know why it can be embarrassing. So let's do this again. But did you notice how it sounded a little different already, this ah? Do it again and listen to it again. And see what else you feel in your body when you do this. Take a deep breath in and then out with an ah. In. So what you may have noticed, even with my breathing, with my demonstration, is that the ah even becomes a little lower in register. It sounds much more relaxed already, right? So really what happens in your body is that the vibration that you produce with the ah sound produces this hormone. It triggers this hormone to be released, the oxytocin, which then in return obviously reduces the stress hormones. So let's try it a couple of more times and then I'll tell you something else about how to get over the embarrassment. All right? Let's try 3 more times. In. Good. And in again. And one last time. In and then ah. All right. Good job. So what you notice, even in my voice, is that I sound more relaxed. Even my speed of speaking has reduced a little bit because I know I tend to speed up when I get nervous. And the register has gone down. So my voice naturally sounds a little lower. And that's all because I'm more relaxed. That's all because the oxytocin has been released and has counteracted all those stress hormones. So now what do you do when you're really stressed and you're in the middle of a crowd? Well, that gets tricky. But what you can do is remove yourself from the crowd. Let's say you're at work, you're in an office, you're somewhere in one of those stalls. You cannot necessarily breathe into your stall and hope that nobody hears you, right? So Halloween's over, no more sighing, dressed as a zombie, it doesn't work anymore. So what I do is I go to the restroom. If there's nobody else there, perfect. Sigh away. If there are other people there, flush the toilet, right? So whenever you flush the toilet, you exhale. Yes, I realize it might be a waste of water. What you also can do is wait for other people to flush. You hear it early enough and get a feel for it. Exhale then. Do it when you use the hand dryer. Just try and find any other kind of sound that might cover it, right? So there are ways to actually practice it in a crowd. But in order to even get comfortable with the whole concept, it's a really good way to just keep reminding yourself to do it on a regular basis. I mean, most of the time we don't even realize when we are totally getting stressed. We just get on the bus or we drive around, we go shopping, and the next person cutting us off, in front of the register, we get mad at. Why? Because we already have such a high level of stress hormones in our bodies, right? And the day hasn't been going great, all that stuff. So what we can do to constantly just remind us to actually breathe an oxytocin breath, because it's such an easy tool and we keep forgetting to do it, right? It's just make yourself a little reminder, such as whenever you get in your car and nobody's there, or your kids and they don't care, right? Do at least 3 breaths, just as a routine, just to, do it. Like you don't even remember to brush your teeth every day, you just kind of do, right? So you can do the same thing with the oxytocin breath. We just have to kind of train ourselves to do it. So one good way to do it is whenever you get into your car, whenever you get up in the morning, whenever you go wash your hands. We do that several times a day, hopefully. So, every time you do that, just make yourself a little reminder, connect it to something else that you already do on a regular basis several times a day. Even if it's just brushing your teeth, it's usually twice a day. Do it then, right? You usually have some privacy in the bathroom. And doing the oxytocin breath twice a day is better than nothing at all. Especially right before you go to bed, it calms you down a lot. Even on those days when you have to skip meditation because everything just completely went wrong. And really, what you needed to do would be to meditate because everything did go wrong, but you simply don't have the time. Do an oxytocin breath. It's not a cure all for everything, but it definitely, definitely is a good thing for your body. What is good for your body is good for your mind. Another good thing to do is whenever you drink some water. We don't drink enough water anyway. Most of us don't because, one of those things we tend to forget. So just connect the breathing, this particular kind of breathing, to a routine, a healthy routine. And there you go. You calm down automatically. Okay, well, thank you for listening. I hope this has helped you a little bit. I hope that this time the audio was better. I realize that sometimes my audio is not terribly good, but I'm just starting out and I'm just producing videos and practicing lots of oxytocin breaths before I actually go online because I'm nervous. So, oh yeah, that's another thing. Whenever you are nervous, to do breathing techniques before an exam or whatever, actually do an oxytocin breath, right? Because the stress of being nervous in a testing situation or going on stage or whatever actually puts us into fight, flight, or freeze. Those typical responses that we're also familiar with. Try an oxytocin breath. Try not just regular breathing deep into the tummy, but actually the oxytocin breath and see what it does, right? So it's really a good remedy for any kind of situation where there might be any kind of stress. So, again, thank you for listening. I hope this helps a little bit. And just stay tuned for any updates. I'm actually updating my website, so I'm really excited about that. I'm also creating a course on forgiveness, which will come out on the 1st of December, right in time for Christmas. So, be blessed, everybody. Thank you for listening. Namaste.